Next topic is automatic generation controller for a double area system. So modern day power system networks are divided into different areas, and each of the area will be connected to its neighboring area by means of transmission lines. Now here I have drawn two areas which are connected by means of a transmission line. The transmission line connecting these two areas is known as a tie line, and the power flowing through the tie line is known as tie line power interchange, denoted as P tie. The areas will be capable of interchanging power through the transmission line, and this power is known as tie line power interchange. So in case of a double area system, the AGC has to maintain the frequency deviation within limits. In addition to that, in case of a double area system, the AGC has one more function, that is to keep the change in tie line power flow, that is delta P tie, within limits. So a two area system can be drawn by its equivalent circuit like this. Each of the area can be represented as an equivalent generating unit. So this is the equivalent circuit of a generator. So area 1 and area 2 can be represented as two equivalent generating units, and the transmission line connecting the two areas can be represented as a reactor. So now we have assumed that power is being transferred from area 1 to area 2. So the equation for power transferred from area 1 to area 2 can be written as P12, that is power flowing from area 1 to area 2, which is equal to E1 E2 divided by X12 into sine delta 12, where E1 is the magnitude of sending end voltage, E2 is the magnitude of receiving end voltage, X12 is the transfer reactance. It is the transfer reactance between the sending end and the receiving end, and it is given as X1 plus X tie plus X2, and delta 12 is the angle between sending end voltage and receiving end voltage, which is equal to delta 1 minus delta 2. So P12 is equal to power transferred from area 1 to area 2 will be equal to magnitude of sending end voltage into magnitude of receiving end voltage divided by transfer reactance between sending end and receiving end into sine of delta 12, where delta 12 is the load angle or the angle between sending end voltage and receiving end voltage. So now let us draw the power angle curve. This is the power versus angle curve. So here the tie line power P12 is plotted against angle delta 12. So we know that P12 is a sinusoidal function of delta 12. So we will get a sine wave here. So let delta 12 0 be the initial operating angle. Delta 12 0 is the initial operating angle. Now we can calculate the slope of the curve at delta 12 0 like this, which is equal to delta P12 divided by delta 12. So we can write the slope of a curve in another way, that is by taking the derivative of the curve with respect to the variable, that is d by d delta 12 of P12, d by d delta 12 of P12. So we already know that derivative of a function means the slope of that function with respect to its variable. So we have to calculate the slope of this curve at the initial operating angle delta 1 to 0. So we can write it as dp12 divided by d delta 12 at the initial operating angle delta 1 to 0. So this term can be written as, that is, slope of the curve at the initial operating angle can be written as PS, and this term is known as synchronizing power coefficient. So from this equation we can write delta P12 as delta P12 is equal to PS into delta 12, which is equal to PS into delta 1 minus delta 2. That is, delta P12 is equal to PS into delta 1 minus delta 2. So this can be written as delta P12 is equal to PS into integral delta omega 1 dt minus integral delta omega 2 dt. So this equation is required in the formulation of the block diagram. So why we are writing delta 1 as integral of omega dt? So we know that in linear motion, the linear velocity v is equal to dx by dt, that is d by dt of linear displacement. Similarly, in angular motion, angular velocity omega is equal to d theta by dt, where theta is the angular displacement. Then we can write theta as integral of omega dt. So here we are considering delta as equivalent to theta. So delta can be written as integral of omega dt. So this is an important equation required in the formulation of the block diagram. So please note it down. So now assume we have a double area system and there is a power change occurring in area 1, which is denoted as delta PL1. And another assumption is that the tie line power is flowing from area 1 to area 2. The third assumption is that under steady state condition, the frequency deviation of both the areas are the same. That is, delta omega 1 is equal to delta omega 2, which can be written as delta omega. Also, under steady state equilibrium condition, the mechanical power input of a generator will be equal to its electrical power output. So using all these assumptions, let us model the block diagram for a double area AGC system. So for area 1, the total electrical power has to be supplied to frequency independent loads, frequency dependent loads, as well as the tie line power flow. So our first assumption was that there is a load change delta PL1 occurring in area 1. That means there is a frequency independent load PL1 in area 1. As well as a second assumption, we have stated that the tie line power is flowing from area 1 to area 2. So area 1 has to supply the tie line power. So in addition to both these, there will be frequency dependent loads also. So the total electrical power output of area 1 is used for supplying frequency independent loads, frequency dependent loads, as well as it has to supply the tie line power to area 2. And in terms of change in load, change in power, it can be written as delta PE1 is equal to delta PL1 plus D1 into delta omega, because delta omega 1 can be taken as delta omega plus delta P12. So this is marked as equation number 1. And now the equation for area 2. So we have assumed that the tie line power is flowing from area 1 to area 2. So for area 2, this power can be added to the total electrical power output because area 2 is receiving the power. So total electrical power output of area 2 plus the tie line power is used for supplying the frequency dependent loads there. So we have considered a load change only in area 1. So we can neglect the frequency independent loads in area 2. So we are assuming that there are only frequency dependent loads in area 2. So total power of area 2 is used for supplying the frequency dependent loads. So this is just an assumption that there is a load change in area 1 only. So in area 2 there will not be any load change delta PL2. So in terms of load change, this can be written as delta PE2 is equal to minus delta P12 plus D2 into delta omega. Delta omega 2 and delta omega are the same. So we have taken P12 to the right hand side. So here it is minus delta P12. So this is marked as equation number 2. Now another assumption was under equilibrium condition the mechanical power input is equal to electrical power output. So we can replace delta PE1 by delta PM1 and delta PE2 by delta PM2. So which is written here. And the equations are marked as equation number 3 and equation number 4. So now consider the speed load characteristics of the speed governor of each areas. So we have already seen the speed versus load cara of speed governors. As the load increases, the speed decreases. And we can write the slope of this curve as delta omega divided by delta Pm. And we already know that the slope of this speed versus load cara is known as speed regulation, denoted as R. So for area 1, the speed regulation will be equal to R1 and it is equal to delta omega divided by delta Pm1. And as the characteristics is drooping, the slope can be taken as negative. So R1 is equal to minus delta omega divided by delta Pm1. So in the previous case, that is while we were designing the single area AGC system, we haven't considered this minus sign. So here we have to consider the negative sign also, as the cara is drooping in nature. So similarly for area 2, the regulation R2 will be equal to minus delta omega divided by delta Pm2. So now from these two values we can write delta Pm1 is equal to 1 by R1 into delta omega minus, and delta Pm2 is equal to minus 1 by R2 into delta omega. Now substitute the values for delta Pm1 and delta Pm2 into equations 3 and 4. So now equation 3 and 4 will be like this. So that is, we are substituting the values for delta Pm1 and delta Pm2. So mark the equations as equation number 5 and equation number 6. So now add equation number 5 and equation number 6. So when these two terms are added, we will get minus of 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 into delta omega. And in the right hand side, we will get delta PL1 and D1 plus D2 into delta omega. Delta P12 and minus delta P12 gets cancelled. So this will be the equation that we are getting. So from this equation, delta PL1, if we take delta PL1 to the left hand side, this can be written as minus delta PL1 is equal to delta omega into 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2 plus D1 plus D2. So we can write delta omega as minus delta PL1 divided by this term. So I am rearranging this term as 1 by R1 plus D1 plus 1 by R2 plus D2. And the term 1 by R1 plus D1 can be substituted as B1, and 1 by R2 plus D2 can be substituted as B2. And B1 and B2 are known as frequency bias factors. So for solving problems, you should know the value of B1 and B2. So we know that the function of the double area load frequency controller is to minimize the frequency deviations to 0, as well as it has to control the tie line power deviation also to 0. So we need equations for frequency deviation delta omega and tie line power deviation delta P12. So we got the equation for frequency deviation delta omega. Now we need an equation for the tie line power deviation delta P12. So which can be obtained from equation number 6. So this was equation number 6, and in this equation we have the term delta P12, and by rearranging this equation we can write delta P12 as delta omega into 1 by R2 plus D2, and we already have the value for delta omega. Delta omega is equal to minus delta PL1 divided by B1 plus B2. So substituting the value of delta omega here, we will get the equation like this, and 1 by R2 plus D2 can be substituted as B2. So the equation for tie line power interchange mismatch or delta P12 is equal to minus delta PL1 into B2 divided by B1 plus B2. Both these equations, that is equation for tie line power mismatch as well as frequency error, are required for solving problems. So you must know both these equations.